Slavs, city lions, and the richest of biblical kings. This is what's in store in today's episode, so stick around as I explain the names of the next countries from all around the world. So let's start off with Singapore, one of the smallest but also wealthiest nations on earth. Singapore means Lion City in English. It comes from the Malay word Singapura, which in turn developed from the Sanskrit simhapura. The precise time and reason for naming this place as such is unknown, but the general consensus is that it derives from the book Sulalatus Salatin, or the Malay Annals, a romanticized history of the Malacca Sultanate. In it, we find the story of Sang Nila Utama, a 13th century Raja that came across a strange beast he took to be a lion. Seeing this as an omen, he established the town of Singapura, where he encountered the beast. Simha originates from the Proto-Indo-European word singho, also meaning lion, while pura has the same Indo-European substrate from the word piehr, meaning city or fortress. Next up, Slovakia. It stems from the term Slav, indicating their ethnic origins. Their native name, Slovensko, uses an older name for this nation, Sloven. As for the term Slav, there is some debate about it. Various forms exist in historical documents beginning from the 6th century AD with words like sklaboi, sklawenoi, or skabinoi. The original native term might have sounded like Slovenin, which could be a derivation from slovo, or word, denoting a people who understand each other or speak the same language. It's only in medieval sources in Latin that we start seeing the modern form of Slav, in the form of sklavi. Not very far from Slovakia, we find a similarly named country, Slovenia. Don't confuse the two, please, there are two different separate countries. Slovenia is the Latin rendition of the term Land of Slavs. There are some etymologists who claim that the Ven suffix could be a reference to the Germanic tribe of the Venetii, the ones after whom the city of Venice was named, but this is not a widely accepted theory. Far away from these countries lies a collection of wonderful paradise islands, the Solomon Islands. These islands were named after the biblical king Solomon. Álvaro de Mendaña, a Spanish explorer, named these islands so in 1567, thinking of the legendary riches of Solomon's mines, riches he hoped to find on these islands. He also believed this was the location of the biblical city of Ophir, from which Solomon regularly received riches. Solomon is the English, Latin, and Greek rendition of the Hebrew Shelomoch, which is a proper name that stems from shalom, or peace. From the Solomon Islands, let's take a trip to Africa, where our first stop is at Somalia and Somaliland. Now, before we start the explanation, a little warning. Somaliland is an unrecognized breakaway country that is de facto independent, but legally is still considered to be a part of Somalia. The explanation of their names, though, is valid for both entities. The most widely accepted etymology of Somali relates to Samale, the legendary patriarch of the Somali people. He is the oldest common ancestor of several Somali clans and thus founder of the Somali nation. The alternative explanation is that Somali derives from the words so and mal, meaning go and milk. Soomal or Samal refer to either camel's milk or cow's milk, so it could relate to the main occupation of the Somali people, pastoralism. All the way down in the south of the continent we find the adequately named country of South Africa. This, by the way, isn't just a region, it's the actual name of the country. I'm guessing I don't have to explain what South Africa means, but we could try and explain what Africa refers to. I say try because there is no consensus on the meaning of the word. The ancient Romans used Africa to designate the part of the continent that roughly corresponds to modern-day Tunisia. Back then, members of the Afri tribe could be found around the area of Carthage, but this might not be a valid explanation since the Afri weren't a dominant force by any means. We also have the Greek term Afrike, which means without cold, and also the Latin Aprica, which means sunny. And lastly, there's an ancient Egyptian term, Afruika, which means turning towards the Ka, meaning to turn towards the birthplace, motherland or spirit of humanity. In any case, the Romans extended the use of this term to all of their possessions on the continent, and in the Middle Ages, as Europeans widened their knowledge of this place, applied the term to the whole of the continent. We're not going to leave Africa today. We still have to explain the names of Sudan and South Sudan. These two used to be a single country, but went their separate ways in 2011. Sudan derives from an Arabic term, Bilad as-Sudan, literally land of the blacks. This is clearly a reference to the dark skin of the inhabitants, which by the way isn't the only such toponym used to describe a place by the physical appearance of its people. Bilad as-Sudan was used by medieval Arab geographers to refer to the settled African countries just south of the Sahara Desert. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. Tell me what you think about it downstairs, and do hit that subscribe button if you want to see more episodes. If you really enjoyed this, there's a Patreon page where you can support my work. I hope to see you next time. Bye.